Okay, last two parts, and we're going to go back to place views and new sheet, and again I have different dimensions than you guys do, but I'm also not going to be as nice to you this time. I want you to have more experience with number 5 and number 6, so this is the front view, this is the top view, this is the side view. The only things I'm going to help you with is where it says that it wants you to add a reference dimension and the word through after the dimension notes. So I'm going to expect that you put everything else in place. I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks for adding center lines, and then the rest is up to you to dimension with either chain dimensioning or datum dimensioning, your choice. I of course prefer datum dimensioning, but no points off if you choose datum or chain. Use your center mark to find the centers of your holes. And notice when I click on this, it doesn't extend all the way out past, so I'm going to click on my circles as well. I'm going to click on these arcs here. I'm also going to click on this thing that is a centerline bisector. I'm going to put a center line between those two, those two, and these. We are going to add, this is a hole, so we're going to use the hole and thread, and notice it types in the word through for you. There's 2 in this view. Now this, I think on yours, is the exact same size as these, but it is not good practice to dimension a feature that is not on the same view. So even though there are 3 of these holes that are the same size, I should not put times 3. Because there's only 2 holes that are visible. So I'm going to double click on this number, and between the hole diameter and the word through, I'm going to put x3, or I'm sorry, x2, because there are 2 in this view that have that. I'm also going to go back to hole and thread, click on this hole, and let that pop up the word through for that as well. The rest you should know how to do, so I'm not going to tell you. Although I will say this, please do not do this. This is wrong. Whenever you have a rounded object like this, you want to dimension to its center mark. So this is the uppermost dimension, and the rest of them will be underneath that. Okay, let's go on to your last part. Place view, new sketch, new sheet. And base, we're going to use part number 6. Is our front. We don't need a top view because it's going to look just the same as the side view. Let's make this one shaded. That's more professional. And we're going to go back to annotate, put in our center marks for the big circle, for the little circles. We could do a centerline bisector if we wanted to, for top to bottom of this and top to bottom of this. So it shows that is symmetric. And then notice I can't put those angles on until I grab this center line. I click on the top one, click on the next one, just kind of go around like I would a clock. Come back again to the top one, right click and say create. Now that these are pointing the correct direction, I can go dimension, click on that line, have 120 degrees, and that looks pretty good. This is going to be another one where you go through, you have your hole and thread, and that should say through after it, but it says depth of 2. So if that happens to you, just highlight it, type in, first off, TYP for typical, and THRU to let it know that it goes all the way through. If it's more than 2, I typically put typical. If it's 2, I'll put times 2. That's just me. If there's nothing else that looks similar to it, this is a really nice shortcut. Make sure you put your name on this. This is block number, it's block number 6. It's actually problem number 8 or something. I don't know. Good luck. That should get you through your homework, and hopefully I can help those that have the most questions if this doesn't help.